no, there's one here. That one's too good. Kia ora no tātou.
The microphone. Sorry.
Was over here. O kia ora no tātou katoa, he mihi poto ki a koutou waku rangatira Mars. Again?
It's not working.
Okay. Yeah. Kia ora no tātou katoa, tino poto taku mihi ki a koutou, nā te mea ko te re haere te wā, engari kia ora rawa atu koutou rangatira Mars. Helga. Well, there are three of us that are going to present on this theme this morning, but what we're doing is actually just the concept of Urupā Tautaiao is so complex that we're actually just going to kind of illuminate aspects. So I'm going to start off looking at the art of Urupā Tautaiao because of the link theme. Basically is about art, but it also brings in another dimension to the film which provides a big overall context to this research. Firstly though, I want to start off, if you can see on the bottom corner that this research was funded by Marsden. We've just heard yesterday that our government has cut all funding for humanities and for the arts, and that includes the fine arts. For indigenous people, for Māori, this is one of the few external grants that really provide that is well resourced, because qualitative research is quite expensive and so is the fine arts, the art and design. So this is a huge blow, but it's also part of a whole movement at the moment from quite a right-wing government in New Zealand that's actually starting to really crush left-wing thinking. Universities who are meant to be repositories of challenging the status quo and being a critical society, well, that's all under threat. And so, but in New Zealand, we are our Māori, our indigenous people, us, we are quite aggressive. So we've been doing huge marches. I myself have been on the 3 protests that crossed the Harbour Bridge, including the last one, which is trying to challenge the treaty. So that's a context in which this presentation is happening in terms of the environment that we are having to work in as indigenous scholars. So kia ora. Now these 3 images have already been mentioned in the documentary, but they represent the core of the base of where our research went, and like practice-led research, blue sky research, which is why Marsden is so important, lets us find. It's a journey of discovery, so it's about uncovering knowledge, not about trying to prove an end in itself. Yeah. So, it's already mentioned that the research site is Tapuika Ngāti Moko, my own tribe, and the closest. A lot of us belong to a lot of different tribal groups or different hapu, but we usually have one that centres us. This was important for the research because the kaupapa, or the topic, is incredibly, what we call tapu, sacred. It's very difficult to get into Māori communities. So you really need to have insider researchers to be able to navigate, but even to open up. Even if, Sonia will probably tell you when she does her presentation, in the north you can't even go into your cemetery at certain times, whereas because I'm older, I could actually access So I could say to a photographer, oh, I'll meet you down at the Urupā and be able to open it up. So, so that was kind of quite important. Like I said, I wanted to focus on the arts. This, those three po, or what we call in research experimental gravesite, which has got about 12 bodies underneath it, 12. It brings together all of it, the physical, the arts, the visual arts, the oral arts. They're all tied up and articulated in that research site. There's a much deeper knowledge or epistemology that underpins this research. There's our worldview, which goes back to we believe that we come from the earth. That's why this concept of Urupā Tautaiao, or natural burials, is so important, because it brings us back to where we to our whole worldview. We believe that we're descendants of the environment, that the environment is more important than what we are. And we have a taha kiko. We know what the physical is, but in a spiritual sense. So for Māori, we don't just see the world as a physical entity. It's also a very spiritual one, but one that's tied to our environment. One of the most devastating impacts of colonisation is Christianity. But what it does, it colonised our minds. And for a lot of indigenous people, we walk into a world because Christianity had such an impact on our communities. So, and what I've noticed when I was growing up, that our old people separated. Once they finish with the karakia, they'll go into the old world. I don't know if that's a good thing myself. A lot of us are trying to move away from Christianity because it's been so damaging. And in fact, what did we say there? The missionaries came first, then the anthropologists. So, what is underpinning this is our total relationship with the environment. So it's quite a bigger thing than us. So those myth messages, we talk about the earth, the Sky Father and the Earth Mother that we descend from, but also there's vast genealogy or whakapapa is central to who we are. Now, there's more than one message, myth message, in the story of Maui Tikitiki, Ataranga, and Hinematau. Hinematau for us is the great goddess of death. She's powerful. So, and we will return to her when we die. So, we made sure that one of the pose or one of the carvings depicted Hinematau. And I don't know if you can see the detail, there's a little bird, a tirairaka there. And as soon as a Māori sees a tirairaka on a female image, you'll know straight away who she is. And we already mentioned how a lot of us in our decolonising state are really reverting back to the old karakia. And this morning and yesterday, that's what you heard, was our revitalising the very old and ancient customs of karakia, or their, I suppose prayers is the best translation. I think Kat, when she gives her presentation, will give you a bit more insight into that agenda. And Sonia will be talking about cultural, about environmental, affordability. We know. So, it looked like it was easy to do, it wasn't. This research was incredibly challenging because you're going back into an environment where we believed that our customary tangihana, our burial customs were, as one of my uncles said, is something that we've done for centuries. It isn't. It's a recent phenomenon. So getting that experimental and inverted commas grave site completed was quite a mission. But like I said, the hāhunga, in the documentary they talked about hanging or getting different methods to get rid of the kiko, the physical. So we used to suspend our corpses in trees, as you heard in the documentary. And that was called a hāhunga. So what we do nowadays is in adapting that custom, what we do is we have what we call unveilings. And usually it's the plaque or the stone gravestones that are unveiled usually about a year after. And so what we did was we unveiled the carvings. What we achieved in this research was absolutely more than what we expected. So one of my cousins was dying, found out she was terminal. So she decided she was going to have a full natural burial. And there's our rosebud in the centre. On the right is her daughter Ness, and she's in the background watching them plaiting her whāriki, the funeral shroud made out of flax. And this, on the left, is a very ancient corpse. And she's also wrapped in a, what we call a korowaia cloak. So, and what we wanted was give the imagery of how we've shifted and adapted ancient practices for the modern world. And this, to complete the whole cycle, we believe, as I said right at the very beginning, we belong to the earth, we are part of it, we descend from it, and we have a custom that's been just recently, in recent years, been revitalised in New Zealand, called matariki, and it's the Māori New Year. And what we do is we go onto our maunga, to our mountain, and we light the fires, the sacred fires to the gods, and we, to the stars, and we have a special pot of food, and the scent or the steam goes to feed the gods. Now, this was, and what we do too is family go, or the tribe is around, and we call out all the names of the people who have died in the last year, and they become the stars. So we say they're called wheturangitia. They become the stars. So I wanted this to be a special tribute to Rosebud, because it was such a huge gesture on her part to be to complete this research. And Tangaroa, where's Tangas? Is going to do a waiata to, especially for Rosebud.
Matariki, matariki, e ara e. Te mātahi o te tau, te kohina whetū i te umao. Rangi nui, e piata tamai ana, whakatata i te rangi. E tohu ana i te tauhou Māori e. Ko tupu anuku, ko tupu arangi, ko waiti waita. Waipuna rangi ururangi e Ko pohutu kawa e Ko hiwa i te rangi e Matariki e ara e
Kia ora atu, Tangaroa. Osi, haere atura. Final slide is that's what we're trying to achieve, and I think that we did it in spades. Nā reira, kia ora atu koutou.